Hi everybody, welcome to Yoga with Anadil. I am Anadil. Thank you for joining me today for our tree pose tutorial, Vrksasana. It's a standing posture that really helps strengthen through the legs, clear the mind and works on our balance. So please join me in standing on whichever surface you want to, as long as it's not slippery. And we'll begin by settling into our mountain pose Tadasana. And today we will have our feet together in mountain pose. And maybe just have a little space in the heels. So you can root down in the mountain pose and shift the attention into our tree, so you can imagine the roots flowing from the feet all the way into the earth. And it helps to spread the toes, and it helps to just keep the pelvis nice and level. And you can get a more detailed breakdown of Tadasana, of the mountain pose, to help you set up for this tree pose in the video. The link is provided. So to begin with, we just spend a moment settling in to the balance of between the heels, the toes and the left and the right. And to begin moving into our tree posture, we're going to start with the first option, which is to bend through your left leg. And this tends to drop the weight out into the right hip. So rather than hanging out in the ligaments, we need a strong tree trunk that roots all the way to the earth. So we'll activate these hip muscles, the glutes, to be nice and strong here, so that when you lift through this left leg, you'll be nice and strong. So then you can come up, and first of all we're just going to rest onto the toes. Bend this knee, left knee a little bit more. Then you can rest your hands onto the hips to begin with, in order to help that sensation of grounding from the hips down. And already you may feel like your weight is shifting, and that's perfectly fine, so we can stay here. And feel free to use the support of a wall near you if you feel you want that. And in tree pose, the hip begins to open. So we engage the glutes in order to open through the hip socket to widen through the knee. So at the moment the foot is still resting on the ground, and we're pressing the heel actively into the leg. The the right leg is still nice and strong, active into the earth. So already this is the first option for your tree. And to keep this going, we gently lift the kneecaps, we engage the quads as we open out through the hips, leveling through the pelvis. And by that I mean, if you're starting to kind of arch through the back, just take the tailbone down, so everything is nice and strong. And essentially you're pressing this foot into the leg, keeping the muscles engaged, hugging into the midline as you root. All of this is knowledge for your body as you move off the ground into future options. And this could be enough. Otherwise you can just release that, shake that out for a moment, and once you're comfortable with that, over time, you may be there already. Either way, if you feel like you want to take flight with that foot, we'll set up, bend through the same side, so we're going to bend through the left knee once more, and begin in that first option, activating through the body in all the areas that we want to. Strong through the core, lifting through the heart, as well as rooting down. Remain with the hands on the hips for the moment, so that we just focus on rooting into the tree. And you can try to just come up onto the toe, or you can rest the sole of the foot against your leg below the knee. So onto, maybe it's the shin, maybe it's further around onto the calf. But the most important thing here again is to engage the legs, engage the glutes to widen through the hips so the knee sweeps out, and you press this foot into the leg. And again, try not to get too passive in this hip, so we engage the hip as well. And all of this brings our attention, our energy, our focus into the center, into the midline, to help you balance more. And your feet may well waver, and this is fine. You stay here, you breathe, and you keep opening through the hips, rooting down with your hands, and maybe you start to lift and branch out your breath as you breathe. Sweep the knee forward, bring both feet back down, and you can shake that out. And the next option is taking the left leg higher above the knee. So we don't want to rest the foot onto the knee, because we actively press, and as you can see, it's sitting on the major knee joint. So we want to place either below that or above that. So let's do that now, being mindful of where that leg may reach. So we'll set up, bend through the knee, widen through the knee, and to help this foot reach above the knee, you can use your left hand to pick up the left foot. So feel free to use the wall here. You can take your gaze down past your nose to anchor and become more stable in your balance. You can lift to the shin, to the calf, or you can begin to lift on up and tuck on in. Now feel free to use your hand to invite that foot to rest in against your thigh. Now you can keep holding that while you activate the hip, press the foot into the leg and keep pressing in, and then resist the press with the standing leg. So both quads are lifting and active and pressing in to the midline. Your foot's pressing into the leg's pressing into the foot, and you use the glutes to open, and the hands can remain on the hips. You can support yourself with a wall if you like, and you have the option to rest your hands to heart center. You can then later on begin to play with the placement of your hands, and maybe even test your balance by wavering slightly. Bring it back down, and we release the foot back down, pivot through the hips, and shake that out. So this can feel quite intense on the standing foot, and I always quite like to just roll the top onto the tops of my toes back and forth to ease out any pressure that you feel may have gathered in there. So now you can set up and do the same on the other side. Maybe take a little break, have a breather before you set up into your Tadasana, the preparation for our tree pose, Vrksasana. And we'll work into the opposite leg. So we'll begin by rooting the hands onto the hips and actively press those down. Level through the pelvis. Bend through your right leg, come up onto the toes. And then engage the muscles around the left hip by engaging the glutes. Keep level in the hips so you're not arching through the back. And then we use the glutes to open through the hips and sweep that knee out to the side, and you connect the heel to your leg. So the foot is on the ground for the moment. And you press the foot against the leg, you resist the foot with the leg. So you're pressing into each other, lifting gently through the quads, and you're breathing smoothly. You have the option to rest in between or lift and try picking up the toes from the earth and resting them in against the shin. Press the foot into the leg. Stand strong in the standing leg. Root. Breathe tall. Drop through the shoulders. Ground the hands onto the hips so that that focus goes all the way into the earth. You can drop the foot. Take a little rest. And when you're ready, we can pick on up to the next option. Remember not to rest onto your knee, so you're hopping over that knee. You can hold on to the ankle and place that foot as high as your body allows. And again, you can be using the wall for support as you breathe. And press that foot into the leg. It does help to have shorts on to press into skin, because it can help with holding your foot up, especially if you've got shiny leggings on. They can slip, your foot can quite easily slip down. But as long as you're pressing your foot firmly into the leg, and I find it helps to press the heel in. It helps my legs stay up into this tree posture. So from the hips, the hands can move to the heart. Keep breathing, move your hands up. Keep the quads engaged. Keep all the breath flowing. Maybe even smile. And then when you're ready, you come on down. Shake out any tension that may have gathered in the feet. Remembering it's a nice option to roll onto the tops of the toes and back. To move it out however you please. So that's the breakdown of the instructions for your tree pose to help you build strength on your way up. The transition into this pose helps you align and settle into this pose. So please don't skip all the little transitions. They are full, these transitions are full of little gems of learning in your subconscious, in the patterns of the body, the muscles, that will stand you firm in your pose when you do get there. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial for tree pose, and I hope you will join me for another one soon. Namaste.